Hi, David Abingdon here again, and welcome to video 3. And this is where things get really exciting because we're going to talk about what will be at the very core of your success, and that's your ability to make a deal. More specifically, you're going to be helping your clients make deals that will earn them a lot of money. And when your clients earn a lot of money, you earn a percentage, and sometimes even an ongoing stream of revenue for months and years to come. Now, what I'm talking about are win-win situations, and I want you to get into this win-win frame of mind starting right here, right now. It's important, always thinking in terms of win-win. When they win, I win. It's a fundamental philosophy that will underpin your journey to success as a business consultant. Now later I'm going to talk about joint ventures, and these are perhaps the ultimate examples of a win-win situation. But first, I want you to place yourself in a win-win situation mindset. It's simple. As a business consultant, you'll be helping your clients win more customers, more profits, more cash. They win. You will earn a healthy percentage of those extra profits your client generates. You win. Sometimes you'll serve a client in which you clearly recognize a situation in which a joint venture could dramatically boost their business. So in this case, you're setting up a win-win situation between your client and another business. So what you have now is a three-way win-win-win situation. You've helped two businesses come together in a joint venture. They both make more money, and you cash in on the wealth that you just helped them to create. You know, you always hear about how the world of business is a brutal place. It's a jungle out there. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's survival of the fittest. Well, forget about that. Now, I'm not telling you to be naive. There are plenty of sharks in the water. Business can be cutthroat at times. However, I want to talk more about cooperation than I want to talk about competition. And by cooperation, I mean getting people to work together for mutual benefit and for your own benefit. Working together and getting other people to work together is the very definition of making the deal. The best deal makers are highly effective negotiators, and becoming an excellent negotiator requires three things: attitude, process, and behavior. Let's take a brief and closer look at each of these key traits in an effective deal maker. Now first, by attitude, I'm talking about adopting and going into every situation with a winning attitude. You go in knowing that you're going to make not just a winning deal, but a win-win deal for your client and for any other party involved. You don't want to go in all wishy-washy, perhaps thinking, gee, I hope this goes well, or, well, if I get lucky, this is going to turn out fine. That's not a successful deal-making attitude. You go in with an attitude that says, I'm coming out of this meeting with the positive results I planned for. I'm going to make a winning deal for all the parties involved. You instill this positive attitude in yourself with planning. But before I discuss planning, I want to move on to the next key factor, and that is process. Any negotiation involves a specific process. True, the details of the process may vary from deal to deal, but in general you'll find that all negotiations follow a certain pattern, and they also have specific stages, steps and stages of a process. Excellent negotiators and deal makers take control of the stages and the steps of the negotiation process. When you learn to anticipate what to expect at each stage of a process, you control the agenda. You shape the outcome of the meeting. Now, controlling the process also involves planning and going in with a pre-formed, well-thought-out strategy. Again, we'll discuss this in a minute, but the last key factor is behavior. As you move along through the stages of the deal-making process, you'll need to adopt the right behavior for the moment. For example, sometimes you'll need to be assertive and display a certain push behavior. When others are being uncertain or wavering, you need to apply that push to keep them moving forward. At other times you need something of the opposite of push, and that's pull. If you can't push people forward, you can give them an elbow or pull them in the right direction. Now here's an easy way to know the difference. When you focus on push, you're promoting your own agenda. When you focus on pull, you're encouraging the needs of the other side. In both cases, you're moving your agenda forward towards the successful conclusion that you want. So, three factors: attitude, process, and behavior. Those are the qualities that are your guides for deal-making success. Now let's talk about that all-important element, the catalyst, that helps you to make all of the above three work at their most powerful. Now the catalyst, the final ingredient that you add to it all, is planning. You know the old saying, if you don't have a plan, then you plan to fail. So before you go into any meeting, into any deal-making situation, you go in with a plan of action. You set out a series of goals of what you want to accomplish, and then a clear-cut plan to make it all happen. A plan of action requires preparation. Before you go into your meeting to make a deal, you go in prepared. This is where Alchemy strategies, some of which we've already spoken about in the previous videos, are invaluable to you. And much of what we're talking about here is already done for you. So with this in mind, let's talk about one of the most tried and tested and important marketing strategies of our times, the joint venture. Now this can and does go by many names out there in the real world. Some people call it fusion marketing, others creative partnering, still others sometimes call it piggyback marketing or strategic alliances, but they all amount to the same thing. A joint venture is when two separate, usually non-competing entities join forces so that they can make more money. Now look around you and you'll see joint ventures everywhere. Why does McDonald's sell Coke exclusively in their restaurants? Well, it's because the Coca-Cola Company and McDonald's Corporation have a joint venture deal. Coke gives McDonald's a sweetheart deal on supplying them with their beverages, and in turn, McDonald's moves massive amounts of their products for them. It's one of the ultimate matches made in heaven. Now here's a more general and common example of a joint venture. Two catalog companies get together and decide to share their house mailing lists with each other. And just like that, one catalog company now has tens of thousands of new, highly qualified customer names that they can sell their products to, and the other has the same. Now, if the two sellers are similar but not competitors, the results can be droves of new sales in a very short period of time. Companies spend incredible amounts of money building what they call their house list, and these are the names of captured customers that they've already made a sale to. But getting each of those customers to buy the first time took a lot of time, money, and effort. Advertising, sending them a sales pitch, convincing them to buy, and more. But when they form a joint venture to trade house lists with another company, they get a windfall of new names in one fell swoop. The monetary value of a house list is almost beyond calculation because they represent the names of people who are highly likely to buy. The trading of a house or customer list alone can result in hundreds of thousands in sales. Now imagine that you're the business consultant who brokered such a deal. Your fee can be 10 to 12% of every sale resulting from this simple arrangement that you helped to facilitate. I mentioned one of our Alchemy superstars, Carl Allen, in a previous video, and how he worked with a Porsche dealership. Now Carl made them a lot of money and earned a pretty penny in the process at the same time. Now one of Carl's strategies that he used was joint venturing. And using his Alchemy opportunity radar, Carl figured that people that can afford to buy a Porsche probably like other nice things in life as well. Logical. So he approached a local and reputable wine merchant. Now a few weeks later, after emailing his Porsche clients' database of prospective and current customers, they held a wine tasting evening at the dealership. It was an incredibly successful event. Lots of wine was tasted, drunk, and sold. Furthermore, many new cars were also sold that evening. Indeed, the dealership went on to become one of the most successful Porsche dealerships in the UK, all because of these kinds of strategies. Carl not only received his percentage from the dealership, but also gained a percentage of their sales from the wine merchant. Voila! And this is just one of the wonderful joint ventures that Carl implemented for his clients. But it stands as a tremendous example of what can be done with a bit of imagination. He looked at the profile of the type of person that buys a Porsche and then thought, what else would such a typical Porsche customer be interested in? Now, you can do that too, can't you? And we've got all the tools to assist, such as profile worksheets, complementary business type lists, joint venture agreements, and the like. But you have got enough here to get you started. You might remember, by the way, that Carl was partially paid by the dealership with a Porsche Cayenne. And you might also recall that he received a second Porsche later on. Now this gives you an insight into what can be achieved and how much can be made, doesn't it? Now, here's another great example of a simple but real-life joint venture. A large firm that sold computer parts on a wholesale basis had almost 3,000 employees. And many of them were telephone reps manning phone banks and taking orders and selling parts. Others worked in the packaging and shipping warehouse, whilst others managed the company's vast internet sales. Now, this company was housed in a sprawling facility, mostly all in one building, but with its 3,000 employees was almost a small town unto itself. One of our business consultants visited the firm hoping to drum up some business when by sheer accident he happened to notice that there were a lot of people carrying a packed lunch. So he asked one of the employees if the company had a cafeteria or a coffee shop or a canteen or anything where people could go to get a proper meal without having to leave the site, and it turns out there wasn't one. Now the consultant immediately forgot about the original purpose and the proposal that he was prepared to make, and that's because seeing all of those packed lunches made his joint venture opportunity light bulb go off. Now, doing a bit of homework, he searched the local town and looked for a suitable restaurant that could also do outside catering or was willing to set up a catering operation to the company. Now, to cut a long story short, he got the managers of the computer wholesaler together with the restaurant owners, and they set up a canteen on the company site. Suddenly, the restaurant had 3,000 potential new customers. Now, the managers of the computer firm were extremely happy because the new in-house eatery kept employees on the ground, which reduced traffic and kept better timekeeping around lunchtime, or overall efficiency was increased. The employees were also thrilled to have a hot meal right at work. Here's the thing, within weeks, the canteen in the wholesale computer firm was vastly out-earning the restaurant itself. Now, we're talking thousands in food sales each month, and the consultant took a hefty cut of the first month's business and a percentage every month after that. With just this one simple joint venture deal, the consultant made a lot of money. See, just one deal, just one joint venture leveraged, and he made himself a ton. But it wasn't rocket science. It was getting two very different businesses together for mutual gain. It was a joint venture, like Coke, made in heaven, with just someone smart enough to simply see the possibilities. Our experience with joint ventures at Alchemy has enabled us to identify 4 key traits that a consultant must have to make these profitable deals happen. And I want to mention them briefly to you right now. First, go into the deal bringing value. When you approach a prospective client with a deal, you've got to come pre-armed, so to speak, with a clear idea of the value that you're bringing to the negotiating table. Now, in the case of exchanging house lists, the value that you bring to each of the players in the joint venture is that they get thousands of new potential customers. And this is the you get value, which is going to be your focus. In the case of the computer firm and the restaurant, the computer company gets the value of higher employee efficiency and job satisfaction, which improves employee morale. The restaurant gets a lucrative new source of business. Now, what joint venture value can you identify? Now, you've got to get creative, do what it takes, but when you grasp that one easy to explain clear statement of value, you're already practically home. Now, all you've got to do is sell that value to the clients. Second, you take the lead. It's important to remember that you are the one that's making this deal, and you'll often find it is the case that 2 potential joint value partners have got reservations or hesitations about the deal that you present to them. So take the lead. Show them the brilliance, the simplicity, yet the power of the idea. And this is where the art of selling is important. You've got to stake out the position as the catalyst, the agent that is making things happen. At the same time, always remember not to seem me-oriented. Yeah, it is you that's taking the initiative and the lead, but it's they who are going to realize the benefits. Always sell your deal with a "you get this" mantra. Make them see what they'll get if they take you up on the idea that you're offering. In fact, As you formulate your joint venture idea, and before you take the lead and go in with your plan, you might want to sit down and make a you get list. Now here's how you do that. Just take out a clean sheet of paper and divide it in two. On the top of each side of the list, put the names of each of your joint venture candidates. Then write down you get 10 times and leave a blank space after each. Next, fill in what each side's going to get, as in you get 2,000 more customers, you get free the benefit of your partner's advertising and marketing, you get the ability to tag on a sale to each item that your partner sells, and so on and so forth. This exercise will create a great sense of clarity in your own mind and let you go in to the meeting confident and in control, knowing that you're going to hit your clients with benefit after benefit until they can't say no, and agree to move your plan forward. Third, see it through to the end. Now, a joint venture doesn't have to be complicated, but even the most simple and direct plans entail details and small items of action that need to be done, and it's up to you to see that each step in the process gets done from first to the last. So go into the joint venture with a solid plan, and then be prepared to see it through to the end. Fourth, be prepared to be flexible and to adapt. Now, even the best laid plans sometimes take a few extra twists and turns, sometimes even in a wrong direction, and it can be 2 steps forward occasionally and 1 step back. Thus, the business consultant who is flexible and can adapt to the needs at hand is the consultant who's got the best chance of winning out in the end. Now, you never know what's going to short-circuit your joint venture deal. One of the principals could get cold feet at the last minute, while others might be simply dragging their feet for no apparent reason. Sometimes a new demand can come along that the other partner doesn't agree to. You've got to be prepared to solve these problems. You'll find other issues that come up as well, such as how do you divide up the benefits and profits of the joint venture deal? Is it going to be a straight 50-50 down the line, or maybe a 60-40 seems more fair? Who has got the last word when problems arise? See, 2 different companies have got 2 different managements, so who's got ultimate authority and over what aspects of the business? How long will the joint venture deal last for? 1 year, 2 years, the foreseeable future, or until one side opts out? Can one side opt out without consulting the other? Now, these are common issues with joint venture deals, but you'll be well prepared for them. Again, an Alchemy consultant does very little in recreation of the wheel. We've seen every situation. We've got plans, tools, templates to handle just about every eventuality. And most of what you do as a consultant is to get things going, to bring people together, make things happen, and then get paid and get out. Now, one final area that I want to cover, and that is equity. That is gaining equity within a business without paying any money for it. Now, this is unique insider information that I'm about to reveal and could turn out to be one of the most important and life-changing business lessons for you ever. Sounds good? Well, it is. Look, firstly, and this might come as a surprise, consultants using our systems are almost routinely offered directorships and shareholdings. That is equity by their customers and at no cost. Why? Well, it's simply this. Once you start to work with a client using the business development processes and the systems that I detailed to you in video 1, or indeed in these joint venture strategies, then a series of remarkable things tends to occur. Number 1, the business owner, your client, has a tipping point moment where they realize that they really can have a very successful business. Number 2, you, with your Midas touch, were the one that made it happen for them. You are the one that transformed their business and have led them into the land of milk and honey. 3, they wonder, what will happen if you go? Well, they don't want that to happen because maybe their business will return to how it was before you arrived. You can see the thought processes in them, can't you? So almost inevitably, they offer you a stake in the business, a percentage, equity. They don't want to lose you, and they want to continue to use your precious services. Now, this isn't a rare event. This is something that happens again and again, so much so that one of our consultants in Ireland on his very first client meeting was halted mid-flow in his presentation by the business owner and immediately offered the job of marketing director with a very handsome salary, bonus package, luxury vehicle, and yes, equity, you couldn't write about it. Now, another one of our consultants in Australia, George Stamatakis, was offered equity in not one or two or even three companies, but six. Six! Now, up until November of last year and in the previous 12 months, George had earned from a combination of consulting fees, retainers, deal-making percentages and dividends from his equity participation just over $1.2 million. And how much did he pay for these shares? Zero, diddly squat, and that's because he and you too can offer such a valuable and indispensable service. Now, in the next video, I'm going to tell you a lot more about how George works and how you can emulate his success. So I think I've given you in this video a better idea of how you can make deals and how you can make things happen for your clients as a business consultant. But hey, I'm not done yet. As I mentioned, our final free video of this series is going to talk more about free equity participation, and also I'm going to bring all of this together. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can launch yourself in a career of being totally self-employed and completely financially independent as a business consultant and deal maker, using all of the tools, the resources, and the information that I've been talking about throughout this free series. I want to show you how the Alchemy system can work for you, how it's literally paint by numbers and ready to go, and how our vast arsenal of Alchemy tools, templates, software, videos, cover letters, presentations, spreadsheets, applications, strategies and more will combine with your ability to help you position yourself as an expert in your field as a deal maker and business consultant. Now, I'm going to put it all together for you and you're not going to want to miss it. If anything I've said so far has made any sense to you, or maybe fired your imagination and given you an idea of the possibilities that are awaiting you, then you definitely don't want to miss video 4. Video 4, bringing it all together, is where you'll learn everything that you need to know, how to get started and how to take the first step that perhaps you've ever taken to total financial independence and success. So thanks so much for staying with me this far, but keep going because I've saved the very best for last, believe me. So until the next video, David Abingdon here, wishing you total success.